So, Ellen Road, it could be a monumental day for Leeds United, a day of destiny that has been 2 years in the making. Victory over Stoke will put them within touching distance of the Premier League, and the party could start for real if Sheffield United then fail to win at Turf Moor this evening. Automatic promotion for Leeds United could be secured on Easter Monday. But things don't exactly always go to plan. And a revitalised Stoke City are on a 5-game unbeaten streak, a run which has all but secured championship safety. Mark Robbins and his side are clearly the massive underdogs, but they are believing in themselves somewhat more at the moment. Ellen Road is always a special place to be, but Daniel Farke has called for the home fans to up the ante, even more so today, and to move them over the line. It promises to be quite the occasion. Let me take you through the team lineups today for the two sides. Leeds United not making any changes from that win over Oxford on Good Friday. Carl Darlow continues in goal ever since he replaced Meslier between the sticks. He's been a real stable, convincing and calm addition. The back four of Junior Bogle on the right-hand side. Jaden Bogle on the right-hand side. Junior Firpo on the left-hand side. Joe Rodon and Ethan Ampadu are the centre-halves. Tanaka and Gruev in the midfield. Willie Nonto starts right-hand side. Dan James not included in the squad at all. Manor Solomon on the left side of the attack. And Aronson in behind Joel Peru up front. I mentioned before, no goals in 9 games for Joel Peru. What a time it would be for him to net today in front of these home fans. On the bench for Leeds, a certain young Harry Gray, 16 years old, substitutes, and a chance from perhaps another Leeds legend in the making. Who knows whether he'll get a taste of anything, but today is his first opportunity to be involved with the first team squad. These Leeds fans really getting into this pre-match adulation of their team. Stoke City in all black, Leeds in their traditional white, and here's the Stoke lineup for today. Johansson in goal, he's been a real character for them this season. Chamadou the right back, Wilson Esprand at left back. Injuries to Thompson and Bocat have meant the Manchester City Academy player gets his opportunity from the starts. Ashley Phillips and Wilmot are the two centre halves. Pearson and Wouterberger in the midfield. On the wings, Bay doing some of the damage on the left, Manhoff on the right, and Baker in behind Al Hamadi. Courtney Sweet-McGurk alongside myself, Steve Holdesall, on Talksport to bring you full commentary of Leeds against Stoke City. And it's palpable, the feeling around this stadium, Courtney. Yeah, it's incredible, and this is why you've got to love live football. Yes, everyone has their allegiances, but you know, the atmosphere within this ground now, there's that air of expectation. And whether that will change the nerves at some point, who knows? But right now, you can just feel that, you know, this team is on the precipice of something great again. It's on the precipice of the Premier League, and right now they're right behind the team. And obviously, the noise that everyone can hear is that's just living proof of what Ellen Road can do and how they can back their team. So much going on in League One and League Two as well. Of course, the title all wrapped up by Birmingham in League One. But Wrexham's draw with Bristol Rovers meant Wickham took second. The gap now just 1 point. Stockport could secure a place in the playoffs if they avoid defeat at home to Huddersfield. At the bottom, Shrewsbury's relegation confirmed. Both Crawley and Cambridge could be officially relegated by 5. They're anxiously looking at Bristol Rovers and Burton. And League Two, of course, we heard all that craziness unfold with Dance in the previous commentary, but at the top, well, mathematically 6 teams at the start of play today could have still won the title. Port Vale, Doncaster, Bradford, Walsall were the top 4. We'll keep you abreast of everything that is going on in the Championship, League One and League Two. Well, the two sides changing ends amid some boos coming from that decision, but Leeds in all white, Stoke City in all black, and our referee is Darren Bond for today. Assistant referee Stuart Bird and James Mainwaring, and our fourth official Andrew Kitchen. It's a packed house inside Ellen Road. You could not get a ticket anywhere for this one. the Leeds United huddle on our right-hand side. Both teams have gone into a huddle ahead of this fixture. There's a certain tension, a little bit of nervousness as well from the Leeds fans. They know nothing is done until it is done.
Yeah, exactly. And that experience that they've had, unfortunately for them, most recently, where it looked like they're going to get promoted. They've done everything they thought they could do. Any other year, that points tally gets you promoted, but they found out the hard way. Football can always throw out these situations. So look, all they know is they need to get themselves over the line today, and then they can obviously watch that game later at Turf Moor and hope that the result goes their way. But at this moment, this is about the players controlling the controllables.
Football is all about days like these. Championship to Premier League, well, it could be confirmed by this evening as Leeds United kick off and the ball comes back to Joe Rodon. Spears one up to the halfway line. Willie Gnonto is there. It's a bit of a hot potato for the first few seconds. Ethan Ampadu comes across, not the cleanest of touches, but Rodon settles it down with a ball back to the keeper, Carl Darlow. And I mentioned it before, Courtney, since he took his opportunity, he's barely put a foot wrong, has he?
No, he's not. And he's a goalkeeper that I really like to watch. And the way that he comes and commands his area, and especially from aerial crosses, he takes no prisoners. Everyone gets clattered, whether it's a teammate or not. And as you mentioned, look, it's hard for Meslier, isn't he? And you always think about him as a young goalkeeper, but he's 26 now, so he's at that point where he needs to start putting in some big performances. And look, goalkeeper, it's one of the hardest positions on the pitch. You make a mistake, 9 times out of 10 the ball's in the back of the net. So I don't envy it as a position, but I do think it was the right decision by Daniel Farke.
Leeds in possession, ball played up towards Tanaka. He's just dropped deep towards Ethan Ampadu. You expect that Leeds will dominate possession and play today. It's whether they can carve and create the openings. How tight will Stoke City be? Here's Manor Solomon on the left-hand side. And that ball upfield from Gruev didn't quite meet its target, but it rebounded out for a throw-in right next towards the bench, the right-hand dugout. Daniel Farke in that familiar big black coat with the hood stands, and his long hair, he tucks his chin in towards his chest as he see him so often. He's talking to his front pairing at the moment, asking for more movement. At the same time, Junior Firpo about to take the throw, launches it. Wouterberger gets the first header down. It drops the feet of Miljan Manhoff, who's dispossessed. There's Solomon, quick ball forward, tried to play it in low to Gnonto, picked up by Aronson and then stabbed away by Stoke City. Leeds keen to make an early impression.
Yeah, and I like the way that they press their 3 Leeds players around that Stoke City player to win the ball back is the intent, isn't it?
Bogle playing a short 10-yard pass into the Stoke City box, which wasn't quite received, but they'll come again. Here's Joe Rodon stepping up high. He hasn't quite found the pass to feed Bogle through. The Stoke will play it out from their back line. Josh Wilson-Esperand, maybe a surprise inclusion today. Eric Bocat started against Sheffield Wednesday on Friday at a packed-out Bet365. He was replaced by Thompson due to injury, and then Thompson not fit enough to start today. So the Manchester City loanee in place at left-back today. It's been a bit of a problem position for Stoke City. He should be more than comfortable to take control of it today. So here's Victor Johansson, the goalkeeper and captain for Stoke City, as the rain continues to patter down. No other goals in the Championship as yet. We'll keep you abreast of any of that. And 0-0 here at Ellen Road, where it's Leeds against Stoke with promotion on the line. And chasing back is Ben Wilmot. Gives it to his goalkeeper. Johansson clips it out wide to the left-hand side to his left-back, Wilson-Esperand, then up to the halfway line. Stoke lose out. First on is Manor Solomon, a bright, intelligent footballer. Tried to knock it back, first of all, to Junior Firpo. I think that's come off Miljan Manhoff. It has, who complained about the decision, but I think he was being a little bit cheeky there. And Junior Firpo takes the throw into Joel Peru. Peru loses the ball. Manhoff. And now it's played back by Wilmot to the keeper, Johansson. Well, it's always a rousing start from the crowd of ahead of a Leeds game. and they'll just be anxious for a first couple of attempts on goal to give them a little bit more to hang on with.
Yeah, they would love that. Both, sets of fans and players. You like to try and get shots off early. It makes you feel at ease, but it's just been very, very scrappy. I think some of that is probably the situation also in terms of, we've mentioned the rain. It's been teeming down for probably 2 hours now, and you can see the surface is so slick, and there's just a couple of moments where the ball's getting away from players, the touch isn't quite there, and it does take you, sometimes 3 or 4 minutes just to get used to it, see where the land lies with the pitch.
So 83 goals in 43 games for Leeds United, 17 more than anyone else, 51 at home. Can they add to that tally today? It's 0-0 at the moment at Ellen Road. And Joel Peru loses out there and then cleared forward by Pearson, only to be picked up once more by Leeds United on the halfway line, left-hand side. Manor Solomon deceives himself with his own trickery and put it out of play.
Yeah, he just drops the shoulder there, step over, and then he wants to come back round with the outside of his foot and try and face forward, but just gets it completely wrong. But to be fair, they've done well, Stoke City. I know we're only 5 minutes in, but every time he's got the ball at the minute, Manor Solomon, he's facing backwards, he's facing towards his own goal.
There's Gruev to Solomon on the left wing, plays it in first time to Aronson. He's trying to barge his way through, pass through to Berger. Berger stands strong to him. Stoke City withstand that pressure. And out it comes to Millian Manhoff on the right, but good closing down from Tanaka. Nearly set Leeds off on the attack again. It has. It's Nonto, edge of the area. Now it's Solomon, and now it's Leeds! And it's Joel Peru for Leeds United! What a time to break his goal drought! Lovely work between the Leeds players. Solomon to Peru, first time left-footed, low into the corner, and is that the goal that edges them ever closer to the Premier League? Leeds United 1, Stoke City 0.
Well, listen to that noise. But the best part of this, and I mentioned it before the game, Ethan Ampadu, in your big moments, you look to your captain, you look to the manager, and he just steps back from everything. He's saying, everyone, just calm down, and I love that from him. But this, I mentioned Solomon, he's barely been able to face forward, but at the moment where he does get forward, it's a fantastic ball, and he can probably shoot here. And actually, it's just that ever so slightly behind Peru. But how well does he do? He just adjusts his body shape at the last minute, and he sweeps it in. And I've got no skin in the game. I'm not a Leeds United fan, but I've watched him for the last 2 games, and he's worked and he's worked and he's worked, and it's not come off from him. But for this time, it goes in the back of the net, and genuinely, I'm so pleased for him. And wow, what a big goal that could be for Leeds United.
Enormous, massive, gargantuan for Leeds. Joel Peru, his 16th goal of the season, but after not scoring for the previous 9 games, all that weight of expectation fell off his shoulders with a first-time finish. A goal that was set up, quite rightly, as Courtney Sweetman-Kirk said, by Manor Solomon, whose trickery, but the deftness of thought and pass really created that for Peru.
Yeah, and you know what as well, when you're a striker that's struggling to find the back of the net, there's been those opportunities that I've seen for Peru over the last few games where he's probably had a little bit too much time, maybe one-on-one with a goalkeeper. He's got to try and take players on, whereas that one, it's just instinct. First touch, and that's exactly what you want when you may be struggling in front of goal. It's a really good finish.
Here goes Bogle, setting up another one for Peru. Could it be 2? Oh, yes it is! Leeds United creating another massive moment in Ellen Road. And the belief is truly there. The Premier League football is almost within touching distance. They have quite literally taken Stoke City to the cleaners in the space of 2 minutes. And Joel Peru has both of those goals. Well, just as Stoke were trying to get their heads together, trying to keep calm, Jayden Bogle on the right-hand side stormed down the wing, and just as he's done for the whole season, came up with a telling pass that gave Peru the moment to shine, and he smashed his second goal in, and it's Leeds United 2, Stoke City 0.
Brilliant from Leeds United. But you know what it starts with? It's Willie Nonto. He's chasing a lost cause, or what you think is a lost cause, but then it makes Stoke City panic. The ball out, and then Jayden Bogle, who, as you say, he's been excellent all season, marauding down that right-hand side, gets his timing perfect, nicks the ball off the toes, and then it's about, can you find your teammate? Well, yes, you can in Peru, and obviously now full of confidence. Next thing you know, 1 touch, 2 touch, bang, 2 goals in the back of the net. And this place, if it had a roof, it would have been absolutely lifted off, because they know how close they are now to the Premier League, Leeds United.
And by the way, the finish itself from Peru, he could have gone a cross goal, but in a really good manner. He slipped it in the near post instead. He completely deceived the keeper.
Yeah, and I think normally, obviously, as a young player, that's what you're taught, to go across the goalkeeper, but there are those different situations, those different moments, and I think Johansson, who's normally so good, he just starts to move, he just starts to cheat because he thinks it's coming across him, and Peru sees it, head up, confident, and just slots it in the near post. It was a brilliant finish.
It's Talksport 2. Leeds and Burnley looking for promotion today, and Leeds doing their part. And the dancing is going on in just about every stand, every tier of Ellen Road. There's flags, there's hats being waved about. You can hear in the background going up. And those 2 goals have settled any nerves and given more belief, and mean that Leeds move on to 85 goals for the season. The entertainers. Here's Million Man Hoff for Stoke in the centre, but Stoke's problem at the moment is they simply can't settle on the ball. Leeds, well, after starting in a little bit of a scrappy fashion, as Courtney mentioned, came alive and are dominating. They're everywhere, and they're chasing down every ball. 2 goals isn't enough for them. Leeds are still at it.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for me is when they've got in the final third, the couple of times where they've scored them goals, it's the tempo in which they move the ball so quickly. They've not given Stoke City that time to settle. And as well, I mentioned the forward pressing. Harrison doing it now, Peru and Willie Gnonto as well. They're so quick to try and get forward and force mistakes like again.
Aronson, edge of the Stoke penalty area. Aronson for Leeds. And his shot is low into the left-hand corner. And this time, Victor Johansson gets down there and smothers that ball.
Yeah, he doesn't catch it, Aronson, but yeah, again, as I mentioned, that forward press is paying dividends. They're winning it back high up the pitch, and then there's not that far to go. It's on the edge of the box. Literally 18 yards out, Aronson, but his standing foot, that left foot, just slips underneath. And Willie Gnonto, by the way, make a fantastic run as well.
Well, here's Bogle. Jaden Bogle strides into the Stoke penalty area, gets to the byline, cuts it back. Johansson saves it again. And Leeds' problem, when they try and clear the ball, whether it be from inside the area or just out of it, Stoke's problem, Leeds are so quick to find that first ball, get ahead of their man and immediately start the attack.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't need any help with that anyway, but I suppose the adrenaline, those 2 goals now, is unbelievable when you're playing, how much those goals, this atmosphere, changes the energy that you feel you've got. And they've just got to be, I wouldn't even say be careful, Leeds, but in terms of when it's like that and your emotions are so high, they just need that moment as well to try and calm it down. Don't do anything too silly, but as you say, the way that they're winning it so high up, Stoke haven't got an answer for it at the minute, and it's just wave after wave. It's like a training phase where you see attack versus defence, and it's just Stoke are all out of sorts. They're at 6s and 7s.
Well, you could look to omens, and you could go back to Boxing Day when the teams met in the Bet365. Leeds won 2-0. Guess who scored both that day? Joel Peru. And that was a win that set Leeds top above Sheffield United. It's been a tussle, a jostle at the top throughout the whole season. Sheffield United, Burnley, Leeds, but it's Leeds at the moment. And with those 2 goals, that has them firm favourites. But here's Baker moving forward for Stoke City. Ball to Bay on the left-hand side of the Leeds penalty area. Stoke on the attack. Played out wide to that left-hand side once more as the boos ring round. The ball's knocked back to Wouterberger and into his defence. It will be Ben Wilmot to Ashley Phillips. Phillips to Wilmot once more. They can't quite find their way to settle themselves into the game, Stoke City. Berger.
13 minutes in. And this is probably the only sustained spell of possession that Stoke City have had. And
they put it out of play.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just fighting an uphill battle now. And the thing is, a game like this, you're thinking of Stoke City, just don't concede in the first 15 minutes. And then, because of the situation, there might be a bit of nerves. And the longer you keep it at 0-0, so then Leeds start to rush things. They want to open up. They want to get the goal. Can you exploit the spaces? But now, it's just about Leeds and how they're managing the game, and you know full well they're probably going to get another one, might get 3, might even get 4. It could be anything at this point in time if they keep playing like this.
Well, it could if it's a whirlwind like we saw for the 2 goals. Let me take you through the Championship. Of course, you can go around the grounds on Talksport 1 with Adrian Durham, currently in operation where there are goals going in, but here's the headlines for you. Millwall beating Norwich by 1-0 at the moment. We've also got Middlesbrough winning at Sheffield Wednesday by 1-0 currently, and Derby have scored at West Brom, so they lead by 1-0 as well. That's how the Championship looks. Rest of the games are currently goalless, so those are the headline scores. Moving into League One, Bristol Rovers are losing at home to Stevenage. Crawley have taken a 2-goal lead against Exeter. Lincoln are 1-0 up against Bolton Wanderers. That's League One's current standing. Rest are goalless as it stands. So Leeds 2-0 up against Stoke City with barely quarter of an hour played. The fans with so much expectation pre-match, but a little nervousness tinged in it as well. And now, just in full voice, almost in party voice, but it's Stoke City with the ball and Wouterberger over to his left-hand side. Josh Wilson-Esbrand back into Ben Wilmot, and now Ashley Phillips. Phillips, 19-year-old, on loan from Spurs. He uses Million Man Hoff on his right-hand side. Stoke City trying to calm things down by just playing the ball across their own back 4 before Wouterberger plays it and lays it up to Bay. Bay gets it to the left-hand corner flag. Can Stoke get a cross in from there? No, because Jayden Bogle defends well. Willie Gnonto is back helping out as well. The Leeds 29, he rams it down that line and he wins a throw-in off Wouterberger for Leeds United.
Jayden Bogle's speed, endurance, and just throughout the game, his levels of fitness are absolutely incredible. The energy that he shows, and I know we're early on in the game here, but he is constantly up and down that right-hand side, and very, very rarely does he get caught out. And yes, don't get me wrong, that's probably because of how Leeds play and the players that they've got, but still, even if he does get caught out, he's got that fitness, the ability, the pace to get back in it. It's a good piece of defending there, and Willie Gnonto backing it up.
I think Bogle would say his move from Sheffield United paid dividends, especially now. Another assist against Oxford, of course, on Friday night. 1 today for Joel Perou's second. If you're just with us on Talksport 2, both Leeds goals coming from Joel Perou in the space of a couple of minutes. Goals which have set this famous stadium alight. And Leeds fans are more than dreaming now. They're so close to the Premier League. Is Ethan Ampadu running with the ball and running amidst legs being thrown across him and arms blocking his way, and he gets towards the dead ball line. It's a Stoke player that goes down, and a card is brandished by the referee.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, to be honest. I think Ampadu initially does so well. He plucks the ball out of the air with his left foot, drives out. There's probably 3 or 4 occasions on the way that he's driving out that he gets fouled. The referee, arguably rightly, plays the advantage. But then, he dives into a challenge. Yeah, probably is a foul by Ampadu. I don't think it's a yellow card. And like I say, he's probably been fouled 2 or 3 times in the build-up to that anyway. So, seems a strange one to me.
Yeah, I think Al Hamadi initially more than shoulder-barged him. But the referee's view of things was that Ethan Ampadu stepped over the line. Yellow card for the Leeds United captain. Stoke City, free kick from the right-hand side, just in front of Daniel Farke's area, and he's still complaining about it, is the Leeds boss, but he'll need to move his mind on. Let's face it, things are good for Leeds at the moment. Baker takes the free kick for Stoke City to the edge of the Leeds penalty area. He was aiming for Ashley Phillips, but it was neatly headed clear to the halfway line, and it will result in a throw-in for Stoke, the visitors, who trail by 2-0. As Mark Robbins got an answer for this. Well, Stoke, since the second goal was scored, have eased themselves more into the game. They've had more possession. They're not created much in the final third, but on the back line they've managed to retain the ball. As they throw it down the left-hand channel, Jayden Bogle wins it first. They do their job diligently. Roden gives it to Ampadu, and it's out to Junior Firpo on the left wing. Can't see a way past Million Man Hoff, and so the Leeds left-back sends it backwards, and it ends up with Carl Darlow, who perhaps has his first touch of the game.
Yeah, I think you're right in terms of Stoke City. Yes, they've had more of the ball, but probably Darlow's first touch has not been called upon in terms of having to save anything, and Leeds United look supremely comfortable in this moment. I think they're probably, I wouldn't say stepped off the gas, but they know they've got those 2 goals, and as I mentioned, taking those moments just to calm down a little bit. The energy, the adrenaline's so high, and the thing is with Leeds, they can turn it on at a second's notice, and the way that they're moving the ball, the tempo that they're moving it with is something that Stoke City can't deal with at the moment.
Well, look how they just played it out of the back to Tanaka, and then across to Bogle on the right into Nonto on the edge of the area. Leeds are thirsty for a 3rd goal in this game. Can they create it from this? Tanaka rolls it in, it's Nonto, plays it to his side for Solomon, back to Nonto again, lots of Stoke players, will it be bundled home? It's a Joel Peru hat-trick on a day of historic meaning for Leeds United as they vie for the Premier League, a return to the big time. Joel Peru has netted all 3 within 20 minutes of this game. Leeds are mauling Stoke City, and Joel Peru has scored 3. Oh, it's a day of celebration at Ellen Road. Peru looks to the sky, raises 2 fingers, and the Leeds fans salute their goal-scoring hero. Leeds are so close to the Premier League now.
But this is what I'm talking about. It's just the moments. This is where they switch it on, Leeds United. It was calm, it's composed, it's been controlled for the last 5 or so minutes. Stoke have had a bit of possession, but nothing meaningful. And then it's like, right, off we go. Let's flick that switch. The way that they move the ball out with tempo, they'll go from left to right. I thought initially that maybe Willie Nonto does a little bit too much. He maybe could have shot. He tries to play it inside, and then it bounces back to him. Initially, then he does take that shot on. It gets saved by Johansson, but guess who's there? Joel Peru, just to sneak in at that back post. And by the way, it's a really good finish. Yes, it's only a couple of yards out, but it's more difficult than it looks. There's a defender on the line, but he lifts it into the roof of the net. And when you're in a moment where you've not scored in so many games, you got 3 within 19 minutes, and you're probably getting your team promoted to the Premier League. Epic. What an epic moment for him.
Well, we briefly touched on it before kick-off, Courtney, about whether even he was thinking, what's my future next season? But today's done him no harm. Has 18 goals now in the Championship season.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, you look at him in terms of his stature as well. He suits that sort of Premier League style of play and what you need as a Premier League forward. So, as you say, he's absolutely done himself no harm in that sense.
So the Championship's top scorers add 3 more. 86 goals in 44 games. 91 points. Last season, of course, 90 points wasn't enough to take them over the line, falling at the final hurdle in the playoffs. But this time with games to spare, it might all but be confirmed later on today. Burnley against Sheffield United will be live on Talksport. At the moment, you're with Talksport 2. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk and Steve Hothersall taking you through Leeds United 3, Stoke City 0, and 22 minutes played.
Stoke City, it's going to be a long old day for them at the moment if they don't remedy something. For me, it's the turnovers. They're in terms of when the ball gets switched as well, not moving quickly enough. It's too easy for Leeds to put passes together. And quite conceivably, we've got 3 goals now. There's only 22 minutes gone. It could be 5, it could be 6, it could be anything right now, because it just seems that when Leeds are in the mood to go forward and to be penetrative and be clinical, it's far too easy for them to do so.
Let me just give you another line of Joel Peru, top scorer in the Championship now as well, outright, 18 goals. That is something to be proud of. As Gruev chips one over the top, Johansson's come out of his area for Stoke to head the ball away, because guess who Peru was hanging around? William Manhoff drives clear down the right wing, but his touch is too heavy. Ampadu sends it back to his keeper, Carl Darlow, and first time with the right boot, he flings one through the centre of the park, and Peru is he adjudged to a foul? He is. Stoke City get a free kick. So this is where the action is in the Championship today in terms of goals. 3-0 for Leeds United. The only other goals in the Championship, Millwall beating Norwich by 1-0. Middlesbrough 1-0 up at Hillsborough against Sheffield Wednesday. Meanwhile, Derby are ahead this afternoon against West Brom. That's how the Championship looks. I'll take you through League One, League Two in a second. Ball comes back to Johansson. He's outside of his area. Nonto decides to rush him. The Stoke keeper clears it down the line. This should be straightforward for Ampadu to give to his keeper. In League One, Barnsley 0, Peterborough 1. They've scored. Bristol Rovers 0, Stevenage 1. Cambridge United lead at home to Leyton Orient. Crawley 3-1 up against Exeter. Lincoln 2-0 up at home to Bolton. And if we drop into League Two, the goals today going to Bradford City, who are 2-0 up to Chesterfield. Doncaster 2-0 up at home against Colchester. And Morecambe 0, Salford 1, whilst it's Port Vale 0, Grimsby 1. Port Vale are on the end of a shock result just a few days ago, trailing today. Leeds with the ball. Gruev to Ampadu. Tanaka. They've got plenty of decent quality players, Leeds. Who are the ones that could really shine in the Premier League as well? We'll get Courtney's thoughts on that in a second when this passage of play ends. But here's Rodon down the right line. It's a run for Jayden Bogle, and Bogle receives it back from Nonto. Intelligent pass from him, but cottoning on to that idea it was Josh Wilson-Esbrand, and Stoke managed to stem the tide. Who in this Leeds team should put in a Premier League team, do you think, as well?
I think Ampadu, very, very much so, could be in there. As I mentioned about Piru, he's got all the physical attributes, obviously, in terms of being more clinical and more consistently clinical, let's say. I think that's something that he can work on, but again, because of those physical attributes that I think you need in the Premier League now, he's got that. I think that's where a lot of teams struggle coming up to the Premier League from the Championship. It's those physical attributes.
Manuel Solomon is one, but of course he's on loan.
Obviously, and they would love to keep hold of him. Whether they do, I think it's a different story. Obviously, Spurs have struggled this season, so they probably want him back, in all honesty. So, yeah, there's definitely more than a few in there that can make the jump up. And obviously, we've got Dan James that's played Premier League football as well.
His stats are amazing, Dan James, and of course it's a shame he misses out today because of his hamstring. Jayden Bogle now from the right-hand side of the Stoke penalty area, floated back to Tanaka. Tanaka to Bogle once more, looking to whip one in from that side. Oh, brilliant work, gets around his man, loads it across the box. Oh, it's fumbled home. It's Junior Firpo for Leeds United. It's a fourth goal for Leeds United. On a day which was meant to be a gigantic promotion party, the Leeds players have lived up to their billing. And Junior Firpo fumbles in. Leeds is fourth. It's now Peru with 3, Firpo with 1, and it's Leeds in party time. Leeds 4, Stoke City 0.
Jayden Bogle, wow. We'll talk about Firpo in a minute. Obviously, he's the goal scorer, but he has been absolutely on fire, Jayden Bogle. The way that he keeps going down the right-hand side, he's always finding the right pass. He's got the skill, he's got the ability, and the way that he just goes past. And I'll be honest, it's not the cleanest of finishes from Firpo. Sort of bounces off him towards the goal. It actually goes sort of over
his shin,
it comes off his shin. It bounces over Johansson, but he won't care, and rightly so. It doesn't matter. It's in the back of the net. He actually shins it into the ground. I don't think he could do it again if he tried. Shins it into the ground, over the top of the Stoke City goalkeeper. But again, take nothing away from the build-up in Leeds United. And as I keep saying, it could be anything. Well, now we're at 4, and yeah, at the end of the 90 minutes, I have no idea what this could be.
It's a 4th Championship goal for Junior Firpo, who did his best to miss that, by the way, with that shin. If you think of your 2 fullbacks, Bogle with 6 goals, Firpo with 4 for the season, and this is part of the beauty of this Leeds side. They've all chipped in, haven't they, from all areas.
Yeah, and it's something that I mentioned, and we were talking, I think it was me and Mark Wilson when I was last here for the Preston game, and his woes in front of goal comparatively. I'll stop now because they're on the attack again, Leeds.
And it could be anything today as Bogle tries to get it in towards Peru. It's instead picked up on that right-hand side with a pass that doesn't quite come off. Stoke doing their best to clear it, but Leeds through Tanaka trying to drive the momentum forward once again. Now Stoke have got it away. Here's Millian Manhoff into the centre circle. There's 3 white shirts back defending. Manhoff loads it forward to Al Hamadi. And then coming out is Carl Darlow, who scuffers it low at the feet of Al-Hamadi. He really hasn't been involved in the game, Al-Hamadi. He's been a bystander. He's in for Sam Gallagher today. The two of them have shared responsibilities since January, but this is a game that's just not set up for a Stoke striker.
No, it's not, and I feel for him. I've been there myself, and you're thinking when you're 3 or 4 goals down, you've been starved of service, you're sitting there thinking, what can I do here? He's obviously, he's going to keep running when the opportunity comes, trying to chase that ball down there, but it's one of those as a player where it's a thankless task, quite frankly.
Leeds nearly coming again down the right-hand side. Last time they were beaten at home in the Championship, September the 14th, against, yes, that team who were vying them at the top, Burnley. That's how much of a dominance it's been, particularly at home for Leeds United. And when they score first, they're exceptionally hard to beat. And today really takes that to a different level, because they scored first through Perrault, then 2 minutes later he scored a second. Stoke were on the blocks, they never quite refound their footing. Perrault added a third, and then a fourth from Junior Firpo. And this game was closed off before 15 minutes had been played. Yeah,
it's incredible, and it's interesting actually as well. Not so long back, young Harry Gray goes out, warms up, gets a massive ovation, and you're looking at this 4-0 up, and don't get me wrong, Daniel Farke doesn't strike me as someone that's just going to put him on for the sake of it, but what a big moment and wonderful moment that could be, and obviously for the Gray family in general, so synonymous with this club.
Willie Gnonto on the left-hand side, attacking Stoke City. You've got 11 players back for Stoke, and Leeds with a hunger and appetite that won't go away for goals. They've scored 4 already in half an hour. Tanaka on the ball, and the young man just mentioned by Courtney coming past with some of the subs and getting some applause as Al-Hamadi tries to break clear, but he doesn't even get to the edge of the centre circle before Leeds pick it up again, and Manor Solomon drives down the left-hand side. Gnonto's available, but rolled in instead to Firpo in the box, who laughs because he knows that they're just having fun playing the balls around this Stoke defence at the moment. That one flighted into Gnonto, but he's a yard offside, going to the linesman on the far side, and that'll just give a breather to a Stoke side who are well and truly on the canvas.
They really are. We've almost gone into a 1 as the goalkeeper, 4 across the back, and then another line in front of that as they don't know what to do there. Even the coaching staff, to be fair, they're all out for Stoke City. Mark Robbins is cutting a very frustrated figure. They're trying to remedy it, but sometimes you just got to give credit to Leeds. They're at a point now where they're just playing so well. Obviously, everything that's going on around it, what it means to them. You almost sometimes as a footballer, it doesn't happen very often, go into a flow state where everything's right, everyone's working off each other. It's almost telepathic, the balls that you play to each other, and that's the moment that Leeds United are in now, and it's so difficult to try and stop that.
I'm putting it into context for Stoke City. 7 points clear of the relegation zone, 3 to play. They probably feel they've almost done enough. There was different priorities today, but Leeds' was far greater than Stoke. And Stoke have just found it very hard to get any sort of momentum together. Here's Rodon with the ball at his feet, coming out of his penalty area. Tanaka takes it over. Such a composed figure for them in midfield. And out to Solomon on the left wing. Stroked back to Ethan Ampadu. The only blemish today was a yellow card for Ethan Ampadu so far. Now, Jayden Bogle on the right wing to Gnonto, who is onside. He sweeps across in, just too far ahead of Joel Perrault. If someone had been coming in on the far side of the 6-yard box, it would have caused a few flutters for Stoke City. The cross was okay, but Perrault has maybe just gone to the wrong area.
Yeah, it's the only thing he's done wrong today, hasn't it? Everything else that he's done is... everything his touch has turned to gold. But you know what I like about this from Leeds United, and every time someone gets on the ball, the fans are shouting, shoot anywhere within 30 yards, but it's still professional. They're doing everything right there. They're not doing anything different in terms of absolutely flooding bodies forward and trying to overrun Stoke any more than they usually would. They just keep plugging on, doing the right things, and they're very professional. I like that.
Well, we've already had one commentary on Talksport 2 today. Newport against Walsall, 12:30 kick-off, brought to you by Dance and Sam Park in cracking finale, which saw a goal ruled out for a handball. So that one ended a point apiece. Brilliant stuff from Danson Sam Park and myself, Steve Hothersall, and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, bringing you Leeds 4, Stoke City 0 with 34 minutes played. And then a third Talksport commentary of the day, exclusively on the Talksport network. Burnley against Sheffield United kicks off at 5:30. Adam Bridge and Chris. Oh my God! How long have I known Chris?
It's the excitement.
I still can't say his name. Chris is going to bring you the commentary with him. My God, he'll kill me when I see him. Now, player down for Stoke City at the moment, just inside their own half. And the treatment's taken a while. I don't know whether this has given a chance for Mark Robins to actually sort things out amongst his players, but there's definitely a briefing going on this near side touchline.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying, don't get me wrong, but I just think it's, as I say, a moment where Leeds United are playing so well. They've barely put a foot wrong. The movement is incredibly dynamic. Everything is with purpose. All the passing, the weight of pass, very, very good. They're just coming up against a Leeds United team that are playing very well. They've been very clinical, and it's unfortunate for Stoke, and sometimes you just can't stop it. Equally, defensive shape, there's little bits and bobs you can argue, but by now, 35 minutes in, you're 4-0 down. There's not, other than literally going 6 at the back and 4 in front of those, I don't know how you change it as Mark Robins.
Courtney, could I just say Iwelumo? And like sometimes even commentates a brain freeze.
You have to wait for the moment.
I've had it on air with him before. Sorry, Chris. Here's Willie.
I just call him Big Chris.
Big man. The big man. It's Tanaka. Now Gruev. It's been a simple day for these two. As Tanaka plays it out to the right side. He's been there. Well, you could say one of their players of the match. On the right is Bogle. Lovely 1-2. Gets Gnonto into space. Oh, he should have scored. Or he should have helped Peru to score. Well, Gnonto exceptional there. Involved in the 1-2. If he just slid a ball 5 yards into Joel Peru, that was a fifth of the game for Leeds. But somehow it flashes across the 6-yard box.
Well, there's an argument. Either Gnonto, as you say, he can score. He's got to be more precise into Peru, or, in all fairness, it's not a bad ball, but it's just that second phase of the line of the attack. Leeds United have to have someone there.
Solomon now, as Leeds maintain this harassment of the Stoke penalty area. Ball comes back to Ampadu. Now Rodon. And out to Gruev on the left-hand side. Leeds United 4, Stoke 0. This one's through to Firpo. Firpo thinking of a second for himself, but that required a diving lunge from Pearson to cut the ball out for a Leeds corner.
Yeah, the only thing that with Firpo there is I think he just maybe hesitates. And that just gives the time for that defensive tackle from Pearson. Maybe the only thing that Leeds have done wrong so far.
Now, corner for Leeds United, away to our left-hand side. One hand up from Manor Solomon. There's at least 4 white shirts in that Stoke 6-yard box. Now more rush in there. The ball's come through to Tanaka on the far side. Drops out to Willie Gnonto. It might spill to the feet of Peru. It doesn't. Firpo takes a shot, but it deflects off Baker. And it's come back out of the Stoke penalty area. Solomon puts it back in. This is comfortable for once for Johansson to catch.
Yeah, and again, the second phase, every time it drops, Leeds United players always there. The first ball, the second ball, the third ball. They're just, because they've got that energy, they're on the front foot ready to attack. I wonder if Peru doesn't quite go for this, just because he might think he's offside. And you see, instead of sort of stretching a foot out for it, he does that thing hands up as if to say, I'm not interfering with play. And I think he knew he was offside and was hoping that there was another Leeds United teammate there to tap that one in after the save.
Well, thanks for joining myself and Courtney for Leeds against Stoke in the EFL Championship live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app, get reward points. 18 plus participating restaurants, delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. A showcase of Leeds United's abilities today, and Daniel Farke as their manager. He won championship promotion from the title with Norwich in 2019-2021. It looks like he'll have another automatic promotion to his name, whether it's the title confirmed with it as well. 91 points before play, 94 will be after play today, And 87 goals now racked up in what has been a stunning season. And it's bizarre almost that Farke's had his critics at points this season.
Yeah, it is, and it's one of those. I think there's the massive expectations with Leeds United, but for me, they've been excellent, and that's the standards now. I think maybe almost at the back end of from last season as well, the fact that Ipswich and Leicester sort of won it the way that they did, that points tally, I think that's almost increased expectation for this season. But again, 4 goals already, and that goal difference far superior to Burnley, isn't it? So today definitely won't do them any harm in that sense either.
Playing it across the halfway line, the Leeds defenders. Al-Hamadi has stood off a few yards, the Stoke striker, because this is comfortable, this is easy training ground stuff for Leeds. Gruev to Ampadu. Rodon's made some space, he'll receive the ball. Al-Hamadi doesn't really try and chase it with purpose. It's out to the right wing, and it's an opportunity for Nonto. Now Tanaka, and then back to Ampadu, just trying to perhaps open up some space on the left of the field, which they nearly do, but miss hit by Tanaka. Milian Manhoff steps onto the present he's been given, and he threads a ball for Bay to chase, but look, straight into that spot and driving it home is Jayden Bogle. Nothing's beaten him today.
No, and the argument is, yes, Bogle does very well to get back the way he does, but that ball by Manhoff has to be better. It's overhit, it's too wide. If it's sort of more angled towards the edge of the 18-yard box, it gives Bay a better opportunity, because he'll be wrong side of Bogle.
Roden to Bogle, Bogle attacking. Stoke on the back foot. Leeds look for that early cross, but it's come off Bay, and Bogle decides to play it backwards to Tanaka. He'll use Ethan Ampadu. It's Talksport 2. It's the Championship at its best. It's the leaders with a flourish, showing the rest just how it's meant to be done at the right time. Ball comes out to Junior Firpo. Leeds number 3 on the left-hand side. Manor Solomon to Piru. Piru with 3 goals to his name in a half hour of madness here at Ellen Road. Firpo rolls it short for Aronson. Now Manor Solomon. I'm not sure what the possession stats are, but they're heavily weighted for one side, the home side, who are thinking there's maybe 5 before the break. Here's Nonto. Back to Ampadu. Ampadu, the orchestrates that. Gruev in towards the box. Firpo heads on. Bogle, lovely touch. Oh, and a finish which comes off the post. It'll muddle in off Aronson. And it's Aronson who helps it over the line, I think. Well, Joe Peru's celebrating. Aronson, I think, might have had the final touch. Peru was hoping it was something to do with him. The Leeds players all celebrating together, and just minutes before the half-time, it's a 5th for Leeds. It is Joel Peru. I thought Aronson had got the final touch. It's Peru with a 4th for Leeds United. I've done him a disservice, but Peru taking all the credit and all the goals. Peru 4, Leeds 5, Stoke City 0.
Well, he was pretty sure, wasn't he, Peru? He wheeled off straight away, arms aloft, and Aronson was in and about. But for me, this touch by Jayden Bogle initially, so good, where he plucks it out of the air on his left foot, brings it back in on his right, and it's close on the line.
Well, you give it to Peru, but maybe there'll be a little bit of not an argument, but a debate in the dressing room. We're watching a replay here. Oh, I think Aronson's missed it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, right on the line. It is Peru's goal.
I tell you what, though, even if he hadn't missed it, I think if he taps it in from there, Peru's having a word, because I know if that was me, I'd be like, why are you touching that on the line? But no, in terms of initially Bogle does ever so well, gets it onto his right foot. He actually hits the post. It cannons off the upright onto Peru. Then it falls at his feet again, and it's just a snapshot. But wow, what a half from Leeds this is.
5 from Leeds as Stoke look for something in one of their only forays of the half, but gain nothing from that passage of play. Jayden Bogle brings it down the right. Bay tries to stop him. Bogle brings it infield. The Stoke players chasing him. Bogle can only stop really once he falls to the floor. And the referee awards a Leeds free kick. Well, you don't see many games where there's 5 goals in one half for this Leeds team after maybe a nervous few minutes at the very start of the game. All of a sudden clicked into a gear which was absolutely sensational, unstoppable.
Yeah, and that's what I will say. Look, inevitably, we can't say that Stoke couldn't have done better defensively. There's no doubt about that. But it's not massive mistakes. It's just in those wide areas. Leeds have been so good. How quickly, the preciseness and the tempo that they've moved the ball to then get down the sides of Stoke and get the ball in the box. I suppose the only argument is, why hasn't it been changed earlier? They're still playing 4 at the back in the wide areas. That's the big problem because of how high Solomon and Firpo working together, doubling up, and obviously Bogle as well with Nonto. You're probably thinking, if you're Stoke City, why have we not gone 5 at the back? That's the big criticism I would have.
Stoke still with the ball. We're very close to the half-time whistle now. There was a short stoppage of play when Al Hamadi was down injured before. Nonto ushers that ball back, and you do get the feeling in the second half now Daniel Farke does have the licence to maybe give Harry Gray a moment on the pitch in the second half. I think there's certain cushions which are impregnable.
Yeah,
5-0 for Leeds.
It would be a wonderful moment, for himself, his family, obviously the club and that dynasty. So, don't get me wrong, he's not going to put him on at half-time, I don't think. But maybe with 15 minutes to go, when the moment presents itself rather, I'm sure that Daniel Farke might want to do that to give Harry Gray that moment.
Manhoff bundled off the ball by Ampadu, launches it up. Here's Joel Peru looking for 5, surely not. Well, the referee's blown his whistle. Well, anything's possible with Joel Peru today. I'm not quite sure. I think we'd need Dance here for this. What is the record number of goals a player has scored in the Championship? Because Joel Peru is unstoppable on that front today. And Stoke have it just outside their penalty area. Pearson. It must be a quite humbling, humiliating game for these Stoke City players to play through. There's absolutely no way to get a foothold in it. You're at the mercy of how good Leeds really want to be today. And they've shown that there was only going to be one winner. Johansson, 4 minutes to play.
And you're right, you're at the mercy now of Leeds, which there is going to be none. You're at the end of the season. They're here to prove a point. It's what it means in the context of promotion as well. I know obviously they've got to wait but for that game at Turf Moor, but they want to give a big show to their fans, and there's no doubt about that. They will not be stopping at 5.
Well, Junior Firpo with the throw-in, and at 5-0 you might think maybe this Leeds team have exhausted themselves. They look fresh, absolutely fresh, because they're enjoying it. As Aronson sees the ball bundle off his leg.
They've used the ball though, haven't they, Steve? They've pressed high at times, but they've earned that right. The first 2 goals, it's more about the high press, but now the ball's doing the work. It's all about how quickly they're moving. Yes, the dynamic movement's there, but it's in short bursts. They're so in control of the game, it's scary.
It's Ampadu. Gruev now. Tanaka. Back to the captain, Ampadu again. And then Joe Rodon rolled back to the edge of the penalty area, and Carl Darlow out to Ampadu. The rain continues to fall down. It's made no significant difference to the day. It's been as enjoyable as it possibly could be. I'm just getting the stats from back at base. No player has ever scored 5 in a Championship game, and I wonder whether he knows that, Peru. I bet you he asked someone at half-time.
100%.
You strikers are all the same.
Yeah, any striker will go in at half-time and be looking at the analysis or the stats man and going, let me know how many, because he'll want to break it. There's no doubt in my mind.
Including Chris Iwelumo, who we're going to speak to at half-time. He's going to give us his wisdom as we head into that second half. But absolute sensational ride, this first 45 at Ellen Road. A day that no Leeds fans who are here will ever forget. Pearson out from the Stoke penalty area to Phillips on the right. Baker cutting a frustrated figure just ahead of him. In fact, a few of those Stoke players, you can see when the shoulders drop and maybe the extra propulsion goes out of their legs because they just don't have that ability to match their opponent. Here's Pearson again. Baker once more. Baker to Chamadou. Chamadou to Millian Manhoff. He's a long way out. He was thinking of firing a shot, but he was caught quickly by Firpo, who took possession back off him, and Leeds with Tanaka now. Oh, they played out comfortably. That's a great ball from Tanaka. Gives it to Solomon. Now it's Rodon. Good passage of play, cut out by Bay.
That's the thing with Leeds. Obviously, there's been a couple of moments, and I say a couple at best, but they've nullified it so quickly. They're still concentrated.
Play from distance, and he fires the first meaningful effort for Stoke City in added on time at the end of the first half, and it's a shot that goes wide of Carl Darlow's goal. But that is really all Stoke City have had to offer.
Yeah, it was never trouble in Darlow, and he's talking about the strikers and Peru, who wants to know about obviously the goals. But trust me, this clean sheet will be important to this Leeds team as well. It's not a case of, oh, we've won the game and that's it. They will want to do it at a canter, at a fashion, and making sure that they come away with that clean sheet as well.
Long ball from Ethan Ampadu up towards Nonto. His control wasn't bad. Squirms his way round the fullback. Oh! No. Referee awards a foul just as Aronson was thinking of other things and Solomon was available in the box.
I'm not convinced. I'm really not convinced with that one. I mean, he's not, but I almost just feel like Darren Bond at that point's taking a little bit of pity on Stoke City, but Nonto does well. Initial first touch, and there it is. What a first half we've had.
Half-time, Leeds are charging to the Premier League in a fashion never seen before in the Championship. They had to beat Stoke City here at Ellen Road today. They've not just beaten them, they put them out of sight in admirable fashion. 5 first-half goals, 4 of them are in the name of Joel Peru. The other to Junior Firpo, and Leeds United are marching on and are marching towards a return to the Premier League where they believe they rightfully belong. Leeds United 5, Stoke City 0, Courtney.
Brilliant performance, and for me, sometimes you see scorelines like this and you look at the opposing team and think, oh, what have they done? The mistakes, they've been wide open. But Leeds have been excellent for me, especially in those wide areas. And we know on any given day that Firpo and Bogle love to get high and overload in wide areas. But it's just been, I don't want to say perfect, nothing's perfect, but it's as close to, I think, as you'll ever see in terms of the movement on and off the ball, the weight of pass. In terms of then just getting started early, Peru, that first goal where he doesn't have to think about it. It's the perfect scenario as a striker when you've not scored for a while. And ever since that moment, and the way that the fans have got behind the side, it's just been a joy to behold. And obviously, well, I mean, the second half is just how many now, isn't it, Steve?
Football at its best. Thank you to Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. She'll rejoin myself, Steve Hoversall, for the second half. We'll also talk to Chris Uwelamo and get his thoughts on this game and preview Burnley against Sheffield United. That's next on Talksport 2.
EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get reward points too. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
The critically acclaimed TV show Andor returns on April 23rd.
The Empire cannot win.
Don't miss the Emmy-nominated series on Disney+.
We must stand together.
Andor, a Star Wars story.
Resistance is absurd.
The rebellion has begun.
You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
Welcome to the rebellion.
Andor, Season 2, streaming April 23rd, only on Disney+. 18 plus subscription required. T's and C's apply.
White, true white, pure brilliant. What's the best
white? Our Dulux Decorator Centre team will help you find the perfect white. Here you go.
Thanks for the tip. I didn't see you there. Can I pay with my...
Trade account? Sure. With your trade discount and prices tailored to you, you'll save every time you shop.
Nice. When I'm done with my empty cans, what's the best way to...
Recycle them. Just drop them in store. We're with you from start to finish. Visit us in-store or online today. Dulux Decorator Centre. Moving forwards with you.
It's in here somewhere.
He's looking for a car finance agreement from 2012.
It's probably in a shoebox.
He wants to see if he can claim thousands in compensation for mis-sold car finance. He should just text DRIVE to 60777 and let mycarloanclaims.co.uk do all the work. For more information on our no-win, no-fee service, text DRIVE to 60777.
My Car Loan Claims.
mycarloanclaims.co.uk is a trading style of a Lawco, an SRA regulated law firm.
And we're going live to Terry, pitch side. Terry, what have you got for us?
Sorry, Andy. You've just caught us having a Warburton's Belgian waffle. I tell you, man, it's hard to concentrate in the game when you've got a mouthful of delicious waffle. I mean, speaking of legendary keepers, this waffle's...
Have there been any goals, Terry?
Oh, I feel like I've scored the winner with these little beauties. Oh, no!
What is it, Terry? Have they scored?
Oh, I've just dropped me waffle. Oh, but it's all right. It's landed in me tea.
Thanks, Terry. Warburton's Belgian waffles, worth waffling on about.
Take my money.
Glory to gravy. That's your mantra. Learn it, recite it, bite it. The gravy dipping double buckets. 10 mini fillets, 10 hot wings, 2 gravies, all for $11.99. Live by the mantra. Get the deal. Believe in chicken. KFC. Until 27th of April. Subject to availability. Participating restaurants only. Not available on delivery. See website for full T's and C's.
Get unbeatable coverage of all the biggest sports headlines with the Back Page Review on Talksport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Every weekday morning from 6, listen to the Superstar Breakfast for all the breaking news you need to know, the latest views you need to hear, and the big name interviews you can't afford to miss. The Back Page Review on Talksport with Tesco Mobile for Business. From side hustle to startup. Get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. For terms of verification, visit tescomobile.com/business.
Join the Football Collective.
The cool, clinical finish.
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
Welcome back to Ellen Road, where we've seen 5 first-half goals, all for Leeds United, as they put Stoke City to the sword and get the day of great importance when their return to the Premier League could be confirmed. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me. Chris Iwelumo is going to join us. He'll be covering off Burnley against Sheffield United a little bit later on. Afternoon to you, Chris.
Good afternoon, Steve. Good afternoon, Courtney. Yeah, very good, thank you.
Not seen you for a while, and actually when Courtney was talking about selfish strikers, this plays right into your hands, because when I called it as Aronson as the fourth goal in the game, the stats would record that you have scored, 4 goals in one game, is that right?
Yeah, Colchester against Hull. Yeah, I was hoping that it took a little nick off Aronson as well, to be fair.
So he's on the verge of surpassing your record. It seems like Leeds have done the business here in remarkable fashion, Chris. I don't know how much you've followed it, but this side are unstoppable at their best. Yeah, it's unbelievable. They've got so much firepower. I think, and when the pressure's on as well, there's an expectation there at Ellen Road, isn't there? But those players, they feed off that, and they have been relentless today. Stoke haven't been at the races. Obviously, I think job done for Stoke. Some of the heads are probably on the beach already, but you'd like to think that they come here and give it a proper go. But Leeds have just been unstoppable. They've got so much energy, haven't they, down both flanks, Firpo and Bogle, and this end product. Solomon, Nonto, Perot, I could go through the lot of them. They all deliver. I think Daniel Farke will be absolutely delighted with that. And it's about turning the sword now, isn't it? Going out there doing the exact same second half, and I'm sure that's the instructions they'll be getting. Well, I'm sure you'll have a massive audience as you take on the commentary of Burnley against Sheffield United, because all these Leeds fans leaving here after full time here, after they partied for a little bit, will be desperate to follow that one. Courtney, how do we expect it to roll on into this Burnley Sheffield United game?
Oh, well, for me, look, I don't think anything particularly changes, to be honest, regardless of the result. Maybe there's would you say a little bit more impetus for Burnley? I'm not sure, but I think either way, both teams going into that a win is so vital, regardless of what's happening. Burnley want to go up with Leeds, which it looks to be happening now. Obviously, Sheffield United, they know they're in got a big problem. They've got to win. It's as simple as that. I mentioned it earlier. I still don't think, even if they go and win, I don't see Burnley dropping enough points for Sheffield United to be able to capitalise on that. So it's just about Burnley. The pressure's on them, I suppose, in terms of...
Courtney, I think that what Courtney's saying is spot on. That there is pressure on Burnley, but because they've got that, if Sheffield United, if they were to lose this game, it's still very much
it's in Burnley's hands, isn't it, Chris?
So we know what we're going to see from a Burnley side now. They're going to have more of the ball today, but I think they're very patient with it. They're calm no matter what the game throws at them. They control the speed of the pass, the speed of the play. They know they're going to kind of dominate, but it's down to Sheffield United trying to kind of upset them and disturb that in some sort of way. Now they have the individuals that can, with a magical quality, can turn the game on its head, but it's going to be a long evening, I think, for Sheffield United.
Chris, I think you do know what you're going to see from Burnley, but you actually don't from Sheffield United, and they've looked jaded of late. And actually, if you took the first half of the season, the Sheffield United we're seeing at the moment are maybe a little bit of a far cry from that.
Well, yeah, you look at where it kind of turned. I think they had scored more goals. I think they had more clean sheets than Burnley. I think it was Boxing Day when they met Harry Souttar. That injury, that defensive kind of leader. I think it started kind of going a little bit downhill from there, albeit they have had some really good performances from then. But I just think it's going to be a very conservative, I think, more defensive try and stay in the game, play counter-attack football, and then try and take their opportunities. And maybe if the game's still hanging in a balance, then go for it a little bit late on in the game. I think that's the only way that Sheffield United get something out of this game, because that's when I think Burnley have probably struggled through this campaign, when teams play a kind of low block and they've had a lot of the ball, but they've not really created too many chances off the back of it. And I think when you look at it, I think that's the way that Sheffield United will probably try and set up with the quality they've got and the speed they've got in the team as well.
Chris, Courtney, which town would you prefer to be in for a promotion party? Leeds or Burnley, if they're both celebrating tonight?
You'd have to go for Leeds, wouldn't you?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Big night out in Leeds.
What I will say, I think the team Leeds are, they're watching the game at the stadium, so I think there's going to be a few. So it's going to be very interesting.
I think both city and town centres will be something to behold a little bit later on if it comes to fruition. Chris, have a brilliant commentary. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
So of course that follows on Talksport live commentary. Burnley against Sheffield United. That's a 5:30 kickoff later today, so make sure you join the guys after this one when we see whether there'll be more goals, of course, in a game which has already delivered 5 first half goals. So end of the first half, Leeds United 5, Stoke City 0. 4 of those goals going to Joel Peru. And of course, maybe Leeds United aren't done yet. Make sure you join us for the second half here on Talksport 2. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, myself, Steve Hothersall. And of course, we'll take you through the rest of the games that matter elsewhere in the Championship and other leagues as well. Second half commentary to come very shortly here on Talksport 2. It's Nomso, edge of the area. Now it's Solomon, and now it's Leeds! And it's Joel Peru for Leeds United! And is that the goal that edges them ever closer to the Premier League? Here goes Bogle, setting up another one for Peru. Could it be 2? Oh, yes it is! And the belief is truly there. The Premier League football is almost within touching distance. Lots of Stoke players. Will it be bundled home? It's a Joel Peru hat-trick. Brilliant work, gets around his man, loads it across the box. Oh, it's bundled home. It's Junior Firpo for Leeds United. It's a 4th goal for Leeds United, and it's Leeds in party time. In towards the box, Firpo heads on. Bogle, lovely touch. Oh, and a finish which comes off the post in a muddle in off Aronson. Well, Joe Peru celebrating. Peru 4, Leeds 5, Stoke City 0. Well, those were the highlights of a dramatic, a frenetic first half of football. I don't really think Daniel Farke's going to be changing anything in personnel quite just yet. His team are enjoying themselves. Get over the line in this sort of fashion, Courtney.
Yeah, you'd be livid if you were as a player being taken off at this point for something, just to change it around, or nothing needs to change tactically. So yeah, he will bide his time. Obviously, you want to protect players as much as possible, but we're end of the season, that time where you're not thinking forward too much about other games. So yeah, maybe 65, 70 minutes, he'll start making changes, trying to get minutes into certain players, but I don't see anything changing at half time.
Well, the run-in as it goes for Leeds United after this Stoke game. Bristol City at home, and then it all finishes away at Plymouth. Quite the trip on May the 3rd for them. Burnley's running Sheffield United, you'll hear it on Talksport. Queen's Park Rangers away, and then Millwall at home. And for Sheffield United, of course, after the Burnley game today, Stoke are their next opponents, which might not fall well, because maybe Stoke might require something of a backlash then. And Blackburn Rovers at home, and that's the run-in for the 3 teams that have really dominated this championship throughout the course of the season. Here's your half-time scores. Cardiff and Oxford 0-0, Hull 0, Preston 1. We've got Luton and Bristol City goalless, Millwall 2-1 up on Norwich. Plymouth are beating Coventry. Incredible stuff. So Coventry, the informed team, being beaten by Plymouth at the moment, who, well, today could have confirmed things in the wrong manner for them in terms of relegation, but they are winning at home to Coventry. Portsmouth 1-0 up on Watford. Queen's Park Rangers losing at home to Swansea by a goal to 0. Sheffield Wednesday 0. Middlesbrough 1. Sunderland losing at home to Blackburn at the Stadium of Light by a goal to 0. And West Brom 0. Derby 2. They're the scores from the Championship. League League One sees Barnsley and Peterborough a goal apiece. Blackpool and Wrexham are currently drawing 0-0. So Wrexham, who desperately need a win there because things have caught up on them. Bristol Rovers 0, Stevenage 1. Burton being beaten at home 2-0 by Birmingham at the moment. Cambridge United 1-0 winners at the moment over Leyton Orient. Crawley 3-1 up on Exeter. Lincoln in a 2-2 draw at home to Bolton. Mansfield 0, Reading 1. You've got Northampton 2-0 up to Shrewsbury. Stockport goalless with Huddersfield, and Wigan are ahead against Rotherham by a goal to 0. Meanwhile, Wycombe 0, Charlton 2. And then if we drop into League 2, Newport and Walsall, you heard earlier on Talksport 2 with Dance. Dramatic ending there. Walsall thought they'd scored. It was disallowed for a handball. 0-0. That one ended. The game's at play at the moment. Accrington 0, Carlisle 0, Barrow 0, Tranmere 0. Tranmere so close to being sucked down if Carlisle produce something special. You've got Chesterfield 1, Bradford City 2, Crewe 0, MK Dons 1, Doncaster beating Colchester 2-0, Gillingham and AFC Wimbledon goalless, Harrogate and Fleetwood exactly the same, no goals there. Morecambe losing at home to Salford 2-0. Notts County 1, Cheltenham 0, Port Vale losing at home to Grimsby by a goal to 0, Swindon and Bromley 0-0. They're the half-time scores across the three leagues today. There is one Premier League game today, that is Tottenham against Nottingham Forest, and it kicks off at 8 o'clock tonight. That's how it all looks on Easter Monday. What an Easter Monday we've had here, as the Leeds players have yet to emerge, but the Stoke players have come out. And what is the mindset for them? Louis Koumas has been brought on, of course, the Liverpool loanee. Lyndon Gooch as well is going to be introducing Gibson. So there's 3 substitutes there, Courtney.
I mean, you're a Stoke City player. You go into the changing rooms and you know you've got no argument for yourself. I mean, potentially only the forward line because they had absolutely no service. So, you know, that's the sort of situation where you go in and the manager says, I don't want to hear anything from any of you. In terms of any one of the 11 could have been brought off. They need to make changes. As I say, for me, they're getting really, really exploited down those wide areas because we know that those Leeds fullbacks love to join in. So do you change the formation? Do you go a 5 at the back to try and remedy that and help? And maybe that's something we'll see. But for Stoke, it's hard. It is the mindset for the players staying on the pitch, the mindset for the players coming on. You're a player coming on thinking, how am I expected to change this? So, I mean, the one thing for sure is you don't concede within the first 10 minutes and then you try and build from there. Keep it respectable. I think that'll be the information in the change rooms. Keep it at 5-0. Keep this second half respectable.
Well, we're just about to see the board go up for who's been replaced. So Josh Wilson Espran, the standing left back, has made way, and his place will be filled by Lyndon Gooch. And as Louis Koumas prepares to come on, he is going to replace Bay, who's also on the wing. So interestingly, as you say, it's down those flanks where changes have been made by Mark Robbins. Leeds United are unchanged for this second half of the game. So for Leeds going into the second half, Darlow in goal, Bogle, Rodon, Ampadu and Firpo with a goal in the first half, Tanaka and Gruev midfield, Nonto and Solomon on the wings, Aronson in behind, 4-goal Joel Peru. That's what he'll be called in the future, 4-goal Peru. But could it be even more? Here's Stoke with an early attack to Al Hamidi in towards the Leeds penalty area. Oh, the ball just fell slightly behind him, so when he tried to get that shot in, he was almost digging it from behind his body, and he's just pulled that shot wide.
Yeah, he was, and Lewis Koumas actually was in a really good position there for the cutback, so he's livid with his teammates. So look, as far as it can be, a very positive start from Stoke in this second half, trying to get on the front foot early, and we'll see how it progresses.
So 5-0 at the break. Is it one of those games where the goals just dry up in the second half, or will Leeds continue to capitalise? It's Bogle on the right wing. They're shooting from left to right in front of us, and the ball's dribbled out of play on this near side touchline. So fresh legs in the form of Louis Koumas just in front of us on this near side line, and also Lyndon Gooch behind him. In other words, Leeds United facing a Stoke City that have replaced their entire left flank here, as the throw comes from Rodon up towards the halfway line. Heads go up, Bogle then shudders a ball down the wing, drops out of play just past Daniel Farker, who's still not relaxing inside his technical area. He's still out there fluttering the fingers, telling his players which formations he wants. Stoke throw. Forward it comes by Gooch. Now Kumas. Kumas plays it back to Pearson. He's got Baker just on the right-hand side of him. They want a better start than the first half, where they were just mauled, overwhelmed, really. Back to Ashley Phillips. And in turn to Johansson in the Stoke goal over on the far side right. It's a full house here inside Ellen Road today, witnessing a piece of history. A Leeds United side determined and destined to go all the way back to the Premier League, and in flamboyant style. Pearson to Ashley Phillips. Onto the right-hand flank. Phillips receives it off Chamadou again. And then played back to Ben Wilmot. Wilmot to Pearson. Phillips again. And Stoke struggling again with that sort of concept of getting through into the middle third of the pitch. And as soon as it drops in those areas, here you go, Rodon's onto it.
Yeah, exactly, and that's because Leeds are always on the front foot in both phases.
Nonto to Peru. He somehow got himself into the Stoke penalty area right-hand side. It's Leeds, it's Nonto, it's Peru with a wonderful turn. Oh my, he's showing off there. It was like a ballerina, a 6'4" ballerina.
Yeah, just the way that he glides past two players in the box there. He sort of sets it up with one foot, then brings it round him with the other, and yeah, everyone, I think including me in the stadium, is just watching in awe.
Leeds throw it, and Tanaka back into his captain, and Gruev takes it from him. Forward from Ampadu. Back to Gruev again. Ampadu, the Leeds number 4, to Joe Rodon. What a contribution he's made this season to this side, Joe Rodon. More minutes on the pitch than anyone else. Started all their games. Certainly a player who plays with his heart on his sleeve, and here he is with the ball at his feet as his square pass is met by Ethan Ampadu. And these two as a combination, of course, knowing each other so well from the Wales scene as well, has really worked, particularly with Pascal Struijk out injured. As Solomon tries to force his way down that line past Pearson. He does, he's past him. Fur post on the overlap. The ball was then attempted to roll into Peru. That's stopped by Wouterberger and Stoke City. And then Chamadou sees himself bundled over the line and out of play for a Leeds United throw-in. So this is halfway inside the Stoke half. The throw-in comes to Tanaka. He holds it up away from Berger. Tanaka for Leeds, out to Firpo. Infield it comes. Here's Willie Nonto. Behind him, Leeds just lose possession for a second as the ball is stabbed to Al Hamadi for a moment. And then there's a foul on the back of him, and our referee, Darren Bond, blows the whistle.
Yeah, and he does well there. Al Hamadi's had little to nothing to feed off, but protects the ball, wins the free kick for his side there. And I must admit, now they've changed the formation. They've gone to a 5 at the back. Stoke, they do look ever so slightly more secure, but it's about now, can you mount attacks going forward, which they're struggling to do.
Again, Leeds winning on the halfway line. Aronson this time with a darting infield run, and he's fouled by either Wouterberger or Pearson. Leeds free kick taken quickly to Nonto on the right wing. Nonto starting today. Dan James completely ruled out of contention for this one. His hamstring injury he picked up 2 games ago, despite coming on against Oxford. I think it showed he wasn't fully recovered, so he's been rested. As it's knocked to the halfway line by Joe Rodon. Back to him once more. Gruev's dropped into the hole to help Leeds conjure up a way forward.
Yeah, you know, that's quite interesting actually, because normally they set up as more of a box, Leeds United, but because then Stoke City have changed the formation, that's a little bit easier for Gruev to drop in and almost then go a 3 at the back, just to try and nullify the threats of Stoke.
And Leeds have it on their back line with Gruev. Across to Rodon. Bogle with a first-time flick. Got a deflection off that Stoke City player. I think it was Wilmot. Came forward and Leeds tidied it up with a ball backwards towards Carl Darlow. He quickly gets it out to the left wing, and Junior Firpo wastes no time with a forward pass to Joel Peru just past the halfway line. Little touch by Solomon. Then it's forward in towards Nonto. Edge of the Stoke City penalty area. Leeds and Nonto strikes a shot. No real power in it. And it allows Stoke City to mop up the danger. And there's Wouterberger who gets it away. He's a player who might not be staying with Stoke City given his quality, Wouterberger. There's a few of those Stoke City players who are being linked heavily with other clubs at the moment, particularly with some are so close now. Ashley Phillips, well, that was a giveaway ball from him into the midfield, and Leeds thank him for possession of it. And here's Tanaka to Nonto. Tanaka's blocked out in the centre by the black shirts of Stoke City, but it's still with Leeds, and the crowd here have been treated to a magnificent day. A fine first half, one that they won't see the likes of many times within their days watching Leeds United. 5 first half goals, and Stoke City win possession back. And that's a poor ball by Pearson, intercepted by Tanaka, and over to Junior Firpo on the left-hand side. Firpo down the line to Solomon. Man or Solomon for Leeds. Solomon strikes it, keeper palms it away. Johansson got low, kept in play by Leeds. Following this one up is Bogle. But as he ran the 15 yards to get to it, the blood had obviously rushed to his head, and he thumps it high over that crossbar.
He's got all the crowd as well shouting shoot as soon as it drops in. It's a really difficult one though, high tariff on this technique, because as you say, he's driving towards it because he's trying to beat the defender to it. It bounces up just before him, and it's definitely not his best shot. He won't want to see that again. But this is about Stoke City losing possession. It's not just losing it, it's giving away. Pearson, it's such a poor pass. They're working so hard to just get try and get any type of foothold in the game. And again, they give Leeds United that chance by giving the ball away in the midfield needlessly.
Well, applause as the Leeds substitutes warm-up passes on this near side. Notable names on the bench that could be used if needed. Patrick Bamford's one of those who might want to get an involvement today. Offer him opportunity for goals. Be a Sam Byram or a Schmidt, but Harry Gray is the one who's dominated the headlines. 45 he wears on his back. He might just get a showing for a minute or two at the end. As Stoke City put it out of play, and Leeds United have a throw on the halfway line on the left-hand side. Back into play by Firpo, and here's Ampadu. Not to Firpo once more because Baker had committed himself. Firpo taking his time. This is a Leeds side that are a little bit more content to be on the ball in the middle of the pitch, whereas the first half they really went for the throat, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and as I say, it's probably credit to Mark Robbins and Stoke actually for changing the formation, although what I will say is why that wasn't changed earlier in the first half, I don't know. But yeah, as you say, they're more comfortable on the ball, Leeds, in terms of just wanting to keep it, not too intent on going forward at every attempt, but they're still trying. They'll want that next goal, and maybe it's the first 10-15 minutes, maybe expecting more of a reaction from Stoke, so don't want to try and go for the neck again too early, just keeping composed, and then maybe as time wears on they'll start being a little bit more expansive again, Leeds.
5-0 to Leeds United at the moment, and 4 of those goals from Joel Peru, who joins an exclusive club, of course, the club that Mark Viduka's in, if you remember back to 2000-2001 when he scored 4 in a 4-3 win over Liverpool here. And Joel Peru, most definitely the man of the moment, as Ampadu has the ball, gives to Rodon, square on his right, and Rodon just progresses a couple of yards forward. Don't forget, following us on Talksport, the Talksport network, exclusive commentary on the Championship game at the top between Burnley and Sheffield United. We heard the thoughts of Chris Iwelumo on that one at half-time. Will it match anything like the drama that we've seen here? Rodon now. Stoke City not really seeing any possession, but they're happily holding off this Leeds United side. And the Leeds fans are very much in the mood for a party. Many of the scarves being flung round at the moment in celebratory fashion. Manor Solomon for Leeds United on the left wing, outstrips his man, ball comes in low, Peru's there, but Stoke City force it out for a corner. But when they decided to up the gear then, Leeds, all of a sudden you know about it.
And as I say, they have that ability, and some teams can't do that. Some teams have to always play at a certain tempo to create, whereas Leeds seems to be able to switch it on and off.
But a short corner, Solomon then strokes it backwards to the halfway line. Jayden Bogle. Tanaka. And Tanaka delivers to Rodon. And then Bogle turns away from the approaching Baker. He gives to Tanaka on the right wing. There's infield Nonto. He knocks it backwards. And there'll be another Stoke City substitution to be made in a moment or two. Bosun Lawal will be the next player to come on. I think Mark Robins has done a good job of stemming the tide at half-time. So he can obviously identify the areas which need to be addressed. Gruev for Leeds. So Solomon on the left. Back into Aronson. Gruev once more. Leeds, it's all about them. The white shirts, the famous white of Leeds United. Piru dwelling on the ball, but gets away from his man. Ball short to Aronson to the edge of the penalty area. Lovely cut to the wing for Nonto, who tried to put it in low. And inside the area, there were Leeds shirts waiting, including Junior Firpo. But instead, it was put out for a corner on the right.
And they do better there, Stoke City. And what's happening, because they've gone to a 5 at the back, because they've got that extra man in the middle, they've got a better ability now to cut that ball out. So even if the wing-back gets beat, you've then got 4 in the box on that defensive line, whereas previously your full-back gets beat. Obviously, there's less in the box to try and make that block.
Well, home has been an absolute fortress for Leeds United. A win today would take them to 19 unbeaten here as they take this corner. They've got 5 on the board already at Ellen Road today. And it really has been the base for a fruitful season. As the ball's cut into the box for Nonto! It's 6! It's now 6 for Leeds United on this famous day at Ellen Road. And Willie Nonto nods in the cross from Aronson. And quite simple to beat Johansson from there. This Leeds United side not content with 5 first half goals. They've added 1 in the second half. And they are storming towards the Premier League. Leeds United are the great entertainers of the Championship, and they might just light up the Premier League next season as well. Leeds United 6, Stoke City 0.
Well, this is all about the ball from me. Yes, the corner comes out, the second phase. Shocked that Stoke don't deal with it very well, and Solomon, he's got so much time to pick this ball out, but take nothing away from it. It's got the whip, the dip, it's got so much pace on it. Willie Nonto is one of the smallest players on the pitch, but the way that he gets up there now, he shouldn't be able to get behind this defence, this Stoke City defence, as readily as he does. But he times the movement to perfection. Nothing that Johansson could do there for me, because, as I mentioned, all the pace is on the ball. So as long as it's on target and Willie Nonto makes a connection with it, it's in the back of the net, and that's it, 6 to Leeds.
Well, I think you're right. The Stoke centre-halves completely flummoxed by that. Al-Hamidi has been taken off by Stoke City there, so that change has now been made. And Stoke City were just trying to calm themselves while Bosun Lawal, the next to be introduced. Louis Kumas trying to make a difference at the other end, and Stoke have turned it out via Ethan Ampadu for a corner. Leeds United 6, Stoke City 0. These aren't scorelines that you see too often at grounds around the country.
No, and the thing is, Steve, you won't bet against it being 7 or 8. Still got half an hour left now, and you can hear what this crowd think. They want more.
So a corner for Stoke City. Baker has the ball, smashes it far post, and Stoke can't pick up on anything there, so Leeds United hook it clear out into this near side stand. The ball's thrown back in for a throw-in for Gooch to take. There's a lot of head scratching for Stoke City to do after this one today. They came into this off the back of a 5-game unbeaten run, a run which saw them 7 points clear of the relegation zone, and has all but saved their lives, really. But Mark Robins won't like this.
No, and there's one thing to lose, but it's the impact that this has on the club as well, psychologically. This team now for the rest of the season is going to hurt, and it's going to hurt badly for a long time.
Free kick for Leeds United just outside their own penalty area. Do you know what? When we came into this game, you do all sorts of research as a commentator. What I never looked at was Leeds' record score at home. Did you look at that, Courtney?
I didn't,
do you
unfortunately.
Can someone back at base just scoop that up for us? What is Leeds' record score at home? Because, boy, they must be close to it.
Yeah, they've got to be. And I think the way that this second half is shaped out doesn't surprise me. You knew that Mark Robins were going to make changes. You expect a little bit of a reaction from Stoke, but I think I said it. 10-15 minutes, I think Leeds will bide their time and then they'll turn it on again. And just like clockwork, they've put that 6th goal in. And yeah, this isn't it yet. There'll be more goals in this.
Well, it feels that way, doesn't it? As Rodon finds Bogle on the right-hand side. Bogle to Tanaka. Oh, short, awkward pass from him. It allowed Stoke to capitalise. Louis Koumas is scurrying round there, but he lost his footing. Leeds clear it to the halfway line. Chip forward again by Ben Gibson, this time brought on to provide a bit of solidity in between sort of Wilmot and Phillips, and it's definitely what they need. 3 big, tall, strong centre halves, if you like, trying to keep this Leeds side out. There's Baker, but he's going backwards under the pressure of Gruev. Now to Wilmot back behind him to Gibson to his keeper Johansson, who's seen far too much of picking the ball out of his net today. Leeds 6, Stoke City 0. Talksport 2. Over on Talksport, of course, you can go round all the grounds with Adrian Durham at the moment in what is quite a fascinating and frenetic day of mostly Championship, League 1 and League 2 football, and aids across it all. He's alongside me to my right-hand side, and he's enjoying the day at Ellen Road as well. Here's Aronson, Tanaka, and now it's Gruev and Rodon. Rodon behind the halfway line, 2 or 3 yards behind it. What are Stoke's answers now? And what is Leeds' intent? Courtney feels they'll want more. 6-0. Play backwards to Rodon. What's the highest scoreline you ever played in, Courtney?
It's a good question. I do remember scoring.
High ball, lofted forward, a chance for Aronson, but he just tumbles on the edge of the box while Johansson scoops it out.
Scored 4 before, never 5. So
against?
Oh, it's a good question.
How can you forget that? You can't score
honestly,
4 goals and forget.
It happened quite frequently. No, I'm joking. Definitely did it. 17-minute hat-trick against Everton. I remember that.
Right.
I'm just looking down though and I'm seeing Patrick Bamford and Pirou's open. Please don't take me off.
Yeah, but he will be.
He will, yeah. Although I think against Preston actually, Bamford came on and they played up top together, but can't see that now. I think that will be Pirou's very successful day done.
Well, Ramazani is the other one who's also going to be joining play very shortly. So it's not as if they need it, but fresh legs will be added to this Leeds side. Have they got a goal in before the subs can be made? Nonto rushing down the right. Score of Leeds' 6th goal. Oh, it's upended by Pearce and Gooch from behind, I should say. Well, certainly not friends after that one. Here's Gooch trying to deliver a ball down the left wing, cuts it wrong. Horribly spanked that in towards the stand. And there's one Leeds fan just below us who's starting some sort of dancing movement for the whole crowd to follow. It's that sort of party atmosphere. So, changes to be made. Patrick Bamford replacing Joel Peru. It will just be 4 for Joel today. A standing ovation for Joel Peru. 4 goals in a game which required someone to be at their absolute best. A game which required a talisman to take them to the Premier League. And Peru gets a giant hug off Daniel Farker. He'll probably never have a day like this again. It's 4 for Peru, and he is off and replaced by Bamford. Meanwhile, Willie Nonto, score of the 6th goal, has a giant beaming smile on his face as he comes off the pitch, and Ramazani is his replacement.
Well, Chris, there you go. It's safe for the minute. You never know.
Mr. Ruelamo has just had a giant sip of his tea at Burnley and thanked everyone for leaving him top of the all-time goal-scoring charts in a game, alongside Joel Peru. A Championship game, I should mention. Now there's a flicked header by Ethan Ampadu, which is picked up by Carl Darlow, who's been a bystander. He's had a relaxed day. There was one shot at the end of the first half which he saw whiz by his post, but Carl Darlow's not really been involved in this one. As Ampadu sends it forward, I thought Solomon had made a breakthrough there on the far side, but a foul committed by Patrick Bamford, new onto the pitch.
Yeah, it's either a foul or quite potentially, I think Bamford started his run early, so one or the other. That's why that one got stopped.
Well, no word back from base. We still don't know what Leeds' greatest ever goal-scoring antics were here at Ellen Road. But 6 is surely up there. And this is a day which all but solidifies their return to the Premier League. And of course, you are desperate as a club that's been at the top for so much this season not to drop into those playoffs where anything can really happen. Oh, there's a lovely ball from Solomon, and Firpo across the face of goal. It was almost 7, and Solomon was the man who engineered the start of that move. What a delightful pass from him on the left-hand side, and before he knew it, Firpo thought that he was prodding another home.
And he does well, actually. Johansson, by the way, makes a good save. Bamford's in and about as well. If the ball's parried back into that middle bit, as all good goalkeepers should do, it's parried out to the side, away from danger.
Right foot of Solomon from this corner flag. It's punched away by Johansson. Referee, it seemed a little bit awkward. I think the ball went out of play before it actually got back in towards the goalkeeper. So it's a corner you don't see too often as Solomon retreats back to the far side. 67 minutes played here at Ellen Road, and to their credit, the Stoke fans are still here.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it a few times this season, haven't we? Different situations, different teams, and in the Premier League, I'm from Leicester, so Leicester fans have made their feelings known a couple of times this season, leaving very early. But like you say, all credit to the Stoke fans. They're still here cheering on their team.
Firpo to Solomon. He's now pressurising Chamadou into the Stoke penalty area, still with Solomon. Help arrives just beside him from Aronson. Instead, it's played back to Gruev. And now be Roden. They're trying to find a different way to impregnate this Stoke City penalty area. And over to the right-hand side for Jayden Bogle. Bogle holds onto it, away from Louis Koumas. Ball comes back to the halfway line. Ethan Ampadu. And now it's Gruev. And Stoke City passing it about, but one slightly short pass allows Pearson to jump in there and take possession back for Stoke City for a moment, and they've actually won a throw-in, so this will just give them a slight pause for relief. Stoke. Leeds United regrouping numbers around the midfield mark, where this throw-in by Chamadou will be taken to Wouterberger and then returned back to Gibson, who'll let it run to Johansson, his keeper. Gibson has it. Takes some time because Bamford's closing him down. Now Johansson out to the right side to Phillips, to Chamadou. They're looking for a way out, but that's a poor pass. And Tanaka got onto it for a second. Referee saw a foul on Gruev, and it's a free kick for Leeds midway in the Stoke half.
Yeah, right decision. It's Berger. He's not even particularly looking at the ball. Just makes the foul, and straight away is up to Gruev because he knows, again, Stoke causing their own problems. It's initiated by that blind ball hooked around the corner. I think it's Tanaka, isn't it, that sweeping everything up as per usual. Leeds United back in possession again.
Tanaka, he has it once more. He's played a decent role. He's such a solid person in the centre of the park for Leeds. Quick one touches as he plays it back there to Ampadu, to Tanaka again. Now it's Rodon. Leeds United happy to hold and contain. Pushed out to Gruev on the left-hand side. Gives to Manor Solomon. Firpo's out on that left wing instead now. Tanaka rolls it forward. There's another foul committed by Wouterberger. Seems to be leaving a couple of late legs in there. Leeds free kick.
Nothing, obviously, in terms of the challenge deserves a yellow, but he's just got to be careful now for accumulation more than anything. Just those little fouls that the referee will be totting it up.
Here's Ethan Ampadu. And across to Rodon. Tanaka. And tumbling to the floor is substitute Ramazani. And Leeds fans responding to Stoke as the Stoke away travelling support got into voice for a moment or two. And Leeds coming down the right side. Ramazani, but he's lost out on possession. Wouterberger, quick ball away to Louis Koumas. Koumas on the charge. He's got help on his right-hand side with Lawal. Koumas into the penalty area, but Jayden Bogle stabbed a boot in there, right boot, which puts Koumas off his stride. And it's a Leeds throw level, sorry, a Stoke throw level with the Leeds penalty area. And I can't claim to have found these stats myself, so thanks to Jeremy back at base. But here's the biggest win stats for Leeds United at Ellen Road. In the European Cup, they scored 10 against Lyn of Norway in 1969. Biggest win at Ellen Road in the league, 8-0 against Leicester in 1934, 7-0 against Cardiff, course, this season. So twice they'll have scored 6 or above here this season, which is impressive in itself. Stoke take the throw. Rebounds off a disconsolate Ben Wilmot. And so Leeds with the throw right back, Jayden Bogle. Now the fans can't get enough of it here. Standing up, applauding their heroes, chanting them over the line. 72 minutes played as Ampadu cushions a header back into Carl Darlow. And Darlow rifles one with the right arm out to the wing for Junior Firpo. Gruev now for the home side. Burnley against Sheffield United follows on Talksport after the conclusion of Around the Grounds with Adrian Durham, who's been based here to witness how the Championship day has unfolded. And this certainly was the best pick of them all, as Bamford charging backwards wins possession for Leeds, and Ampadu calmly plays it to his right for Joe Rodon. He's on the halfway line, the centre circle mark, and Rodon back to Ampadu. They're quite comfortable now, Leeds.
Yeah, I think the tempo has now come out of the game, hasn't it? As I mentioned, look, Leeds can turn it on and off as and when they please, so they'll still have moments, but you just feel that now this is the procession, keeping the ball, obviously taking all the adulation from the fans, but I still think there's another goal. I still think we'll get to 7.
Well, it could be a possibility. It's in the making, and Leeds United have the ball at the moment. And Leeds United asked for one more push, one more game, and it's delivered today, as Aronson nearly forced his way through, but Stoke cut them out in the centre. Gibson clears. And then on the halfway line, it will be a Leeds United decision. Well, I suppose the season probably has panned out how you would have expected it in the Championship in terms of the teams who are going to challenge and make that mark.
I think maybe there's, as you say, there's been a few moments where there's certain situations where the teams have a bit of a wobble, lose a few games, and maybe you might not have expected that to happen as to where it was, but certainly the teams in and around are no surprise.
Chance now for Leeds together inside that Stoke penalty area. The shot from Solomon, rebounds back to him. Solomon once more, great footwork and trickery as he's surrounded by Stoke players, but he eventually tried to pass it out to the right hand side, and Stoke have cleared it. And Leeds will start on the halfway again. Elsewhere in the Championship today, let me quickly give you an idea of what's been going on with some of the other teams and their play. So Leeds United setting the standard. Cardiff 1-0 upon Oxford. Hull 2-1, they're beating Preston. Luton 3, Bristol City 1, Millwall 3, Norwich 1, Plymouth 3-1 up on Coventry now. Quite unexpected against Frank Lampard's side. Portsmouth 1-0 up against Watford. QPR losing at home to Swansea 2-1. Sheff Wednesday 1, Middlesbrough 1. Sunderland losing at home to Blackburn 1-0. And it's West Brom 1, Derby 2. That concludes the Championship game in the Premier League tonight. Just one of them. Tottenham Nottingham Forest is an 8 o'clock kickoff.
There's a while to go, but there's some big results there at the bottom, isn't there, for the likes of Derby and Luton.
Been an immense day, and a couple of other substitutions about to take place. So Sam Byram is the first of which for Leeds United. So presumably he'll slot in a full-back position. And also joining him on the pitch, Isaac Schmidt. And this will take place in a moment once the players subsided. Carl Darlow over to the right, and Jayden Bogle. Bogle fires one upfield. Header away by Stoke City, picked up by second or two. A chance for Wilmot to take control of things. Tatsuki Seko had a touch on the ball then. So being replaced for Leeds United, Schmidt shakes the hands of Bogle, who has just been different level today. And Bogle quite rightly getting a round of applause from everyone in here. So Schmidt with those familiar dreadlocks onto the field, and Sam Byram replacing Junior Firpo as expected at left back. Standing ovation for all of these Leeds players. They've all been different level today. Perhaps if you had to pick out a couple, Peru for his goals, Bogle for his just incredible contribution.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, there's the assists in there, but he's done his defensive duties. Obviously, he's not been needed in that sense very often, but again, his engine, the way he gets up and down the pitch is absolutely incredible.
Gruev hoping to conjure something up. Bamford slipped at a vital time, maybe 30 yards from goal. It's come back to the halfway line, and Leeds United with their skipper Ethan Ampadu. And Roden rolls it to Gruev. Back to Ampadu again. Tanaka. Schmidt's out on this near side right line, hoping to get involved in the game. We've got 78 minutes played here at Ellen Road in what has been a whirlwind. Well, the first half was a first half never to be forgotten, as that ball is given away momentarily by Ramazani. And Stoke almost onto possession of things. Well, they will now with Louis Koumas. Breaks into the Leeds penalty area right-hand side. Ramazani makes up for things by cutting across and winning it back. Played over to Sam Byron. Get his first touch of the game. And then Enfield play goes. And Leeds press it over to Schmidt on the right-hand side. Schmidt returns to Rodon. And then to the keeper, Carl Darlow. So a final 10 minutes, and then all thoughts will turn to Burnley against Sheffield United. I wonder how long the fans will want to stay in here and party, or whether there'll be a bit of an eagerness to go and take their places, I don't know, listen to Chris on the radio, going in the pubs, whatever they might do. What do you think, Courtney?
I think they'll want to soak the moment in, and it's not very often you win 6-0 if it stays like this. So, look, the players will enjoy it, and so will the fans when they have that lap round the pitch, I'm sure. But I think after that, as quickly as possible, they'll be either trying to get home and watch the game or getting into the pubs to see what happens. And hopefully for them, they'll be hoping that this is the day that they get promoted. But if not, you know, it's obviously coming very, very shortly, isn't it?
It's happening at some point. It's a matter of when you want to feel like it is happening and when you want to celebrate it. But today has been a significant signpost in the Leeds United season. As up in the middle of the park goes Ampadu to head it forward towards Bamford, and then flicked back forward by Pearson into the Leeds half, met by Roden, and then coming forward is Ashley Phillips, who heads a strong ball up to the edge of the Leeds penalty area, then bounces back out to Baker on the right hand side. Significantly in League One, Wrexham are 2-0 up now, so they leap back into second place, just ahead of Wickham. That's a real fight at the top. Of course, Birmingham confirming things at the very top, but Wrexham now second, Wickham third in the standings, as Wrexham lead 2-0 at Blackpool. There's all sorts going on today, and Adrian Durham around the grounds on Talksport, taking you through the progress of all the leagues. Here we've been soaking up a majestic Leeds United performance. Ampadu now bringing the ball out of his own penalty area. Daniel Farker still stands on the edge of his technical area, a motionless figure, not showing too much emotion, but I'm sure enjoying it. He's got to, hasn't he? Even the manager.
If you can't enjoy it when your side is 6-0 up, then when can you? Obviously, They want to get through the game. As I say, that clean sheet will be so important. So we'll want to make sure they get that. But, you know, he knows he's close, but he won't let himself celebrate until it's mathematically done. It's mathematically possible. But then, obviously, it's not just the promotion. It's then turning towards, we want to go and win it. And I think when that's done, that's the moment to celebrate.
You want to win the title, don't you? That's particularly with a team like this. As this ball is played through the centre for Tanaka. Oh, it's given away an awkward pass. He lost his balance at the time. Pearson onto it. No real great opportunities for Stoke City. The only one was Lawal, who was close. But they've been forced to go backwards, really. And it's ended up with Seko for Stoke City in their own half. Now this will be the moment that the Leeds United fans have been waiting for. Harry Gray, you heard it chanted in the background there, 16 years old. And of course, brother of a name, another famous Gray, and a part of the famous Gray dynasty. Archie Gray, one of those names. Eddie Gray. It's a name that's been synonymous with this football club. He'll have his moment in a second. Ball rumbles out of play. It's going to be now that Daniel Farke does something. No. Stoke make their throw. He'll have probably 10 minutes on the pitch when he does manage to get involved.
Just looking at the iPad, thinking all the set pieces I imagine they'll be going through with him, just so he knows his place. And yeah, what a big moment for the young boy.
They deal with such maturity these days, some of these young lads. Here's Manuel Solomon on the left-hand side. Gruev's made the run over his shoulder on the left. Instead, it might drop to the edge of the box for Aronson. Now Tanaka. Shoot, they cry, as Rodon has the ball from 35 yards. It was never in his mind. And over it goes to the left again. And Gruev for Leeds United. Surely Premier League is waiting for them now. Sheffield United playing at Burnley after this. Here's Joe Rodon. Now Tanaka. Play just pausing as Tanaka deciding on his pass, and Pearson wasn't committing to a challenge on him. And they'll go backwards. And I'm sure Harry Gray's thinking, come on, hurry up. Someone put it out of play, will you? Give me extra minutes out there. Rodon to Gruev. Play's not pausing yet. Is Ampadu. Sam Barron's making himself available. That was neat from Solomon. And then he chips it over the top. It's Ramazani. The keeper's come out. Johansson. Smith has an opportunity. It's blocked just on the edge of the box. Schmidt now to Solomon, and Johansson stays down. And he's trying to see seconds out. But this will mean a pause in play.
I think Ramazani, I don't know whether he hesitates there, but yeah, he lets it bounce. I think if he tries to get his first touch on this and lob the goalkeeper, he's better off. It just gives that moment then for Johansson to come across. I think the referee does the right thing in terms of playing on. It's not a foul, it's just a collision. They're coming together. And at that point, though, the sort of the play breaks down. I know the Leeds United fans sort of booed, they wanted it to play on, but the referee is thinking about the welfare of the goalkeeper there.
So while play has stopped, a certain figure stands on the halfway line, and the referee is still overseeing the injury to Johansson. So the grey name is synonymous with Leeds United, whether it be Eddie, Archie, and now it's 16-year-old Harry Gray. Well, is he to write his name into Leeds folklore? He's 16 years old. He's making his senior debut in the Leeds squad today. He's brother of Archie. His inclusion has had the home fans buzzing. And Harry Gray, at 16, wears the white shirt of Leeds United for the first time in a game which has all but confirmed Leeds' promotion back to the Premier League. What a moment for the youngster.
Oh, it's huge, isn't it? And probably no better moment than this to come on, to be honest. Comfortable in terms of Leeds United with those 6 goals, and It's just a case now of getting that touch, getting on the ball, but also being on the pitch when that whistle blows and having that moment. It's huge, and hopefully for him the start of a long career.
Well, he's immediately gone into an attacking position. Harry Gray with goals in his mind, and he stands just behind Patrick Bamford. And Harry Gray on 85 minutes coming on to the Ellen Road turf. A moment that will live with him forever. Here's Gruev. Over to Sam Byron and then back into Ethan Ampadu. Now Joe Rodon. Rodon gives to Ampadu once more. Ball's lunged forward. It has to be headed well out of play by Ben Wilmot, who concedes the corner, who wasn't willing to gamble on who was lurking behind him.
No, and he obviously didn't get the shout from Johansson, but I thought Johansson probably could have come and got that. But you're right as well, but if you're not sure, if you don't know what's behind you, if you're not sure your goalkeeper's coming, you've just got to get rid.
Leeds United corner. 6-0 up. 3 minutes left to play. Is there to be a final sting in the tail for Leeds United in a game which has given so much for them? Hands up by Manor Solomon. Corner from the right-hand side, far post. He flings it. Joe Rodon was being held, or at least he thought he was. The referee says he was doing his fair amount at the same time on Ben Gibson. And so as we come towards the closing segment of this game, Leeds have done their bit. There are a few people leaving, but not too many. I think most are hanging around to witness what is a terrific moment, a moment that will be cherished by the football club, to finish such an important game with an emphatic scoreline and in style. I think they'll want to honour these players.
I suppose it's just a shame, isn't it, that all the fixtures today haven't been at the same time, so they don't know where they're at. They don't get the moment within the stadium, the fans, the players, but I'm sure they'll have time to celebrate.
5 first half goals, 1 second half goal. That was Willie Nonto's in the second half. Here's Schmidt for Leeds United on the right. Plays the ball into the feet of Laji Ramazani. And now Stoke City win back possession. But Leeds take it back once more. Here's Schmidt. Bamford's with him on the right-hand side. Schmidt slips over on that turf as Baker breaks for Stoke. Gives to Louis Koumas. Koumas, the Liverpool Academy player. And Stoke trying to bustle their way through. But Leeds all the time had it under control. Ethan Ampadu just stepped in to impose himself and then deliver a long ball for Bamford. Keeper's come out. Bamford tries to chip Johansson, and Bamford injures himself in the process before Johansson clips it out into touch. Well, it looked like a bit of a 50-50 to me, and Bamford's just come off worse.
Yeah, potentially, but again, similar to Ramazani, I think Bamford can get to this ball quicker. He doesn't. He lets it bounce. Does brilliantly well with his run, the way he times it, by the way. Although my argument is he does lift this initially over the goalkeeper, Johansson. He doesn't get anything on it, the goalkeeper. There is contact, but we know in terms of now this season, the bar for penalties are a lot higher. And although Johansson doesn't get anything on the ball, I equally don't think he can get himself out of the way of Bamford quick enough. And I don't think the ball was heading towards goal.
Well, we're back in play. We're 10 seconds away from the 90 minutes now. And Leeds United have the ball again with Rodon and now Ampadu. You can hear the greediness behind us as a call for 7 is demanded. There won't be too much. Well, there shouldn't. I imagine there's been a few substitutions, hasn't there? I suppose it's the way the referee sees it. But as Carl Darlow clips this one to the left wing, Byram's in waiting as it comes back. And then it goes back to the keeper again, Darlow. Darlow rolls out to Rodon. Schmidt on the right-hand side. It's a touch ahead to Bamford. Bamford looking infield to Tanaka. But Leeds all of a sudden are dispossessed. Louis Koumas doing some trickery on the ball. Put it through the legs of Tanaka. But he's won it back again. And Tanaka clips it upfield for Bamford. And from behind, Bamford sees a leg whip round the side of him, Ben Wilmot, and put it out into touch for a Leeds throw. So we're closing in on the full-time whistle here. As Ramazani loses possession, Baker from distance, right-footed, fires it, and that's the first one Carl Darlow's had to save, and it's 91 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock.
It's the closest they've gone, but that one for Darlow, straight down his throat. It's never going to trouble him. And that's been the issue, hasn't it, for Stoke City? Not done that enough today.
Ramazani from distance, and that was definitely not troubling Johansson in the Stoke goal. Another standout player for Leeds today has been Manor Solomon, who's drifted in so often from that left-hand side and been impossible for Stoke City to keep tabs on. As Johansson lines up taking his goal kick. Again, just a hustle of a few people leaving their seats inside here. The majority are witnessing this till the very end. And boy, did this stadium rock at the very start. And it will do throughout the course of next season as Premier League teams like Arsenal and Liverpool grace such a famous venue. But of course, Leeds United will have different questions to answer then. And once they're up, can they stay up? It becomes a whole different ball game, Courtney.
Yeah, of course it does. And I think we've seen it this season, the struggle and the gap between the Premier League and the Championship this year. It's just been far too great. But I think of the ones coming up, I do think that Leeds stand the best chance. They've got that, a good set of players, but they've got that big club mentality and that attraction that will attract, obviously, a standard of players that are going to help them in the Premier League as well.
Leeds throw on the left-hand side. Referee's blown his whistle, and the throw is over the halfway line towards Patrick Bamford. Nearly dropped near Ramazani. Bamford then tried to shield it off with his chest to young Harry Gray. The referee awarded a free kick for Stoke City. And this is the very dregs of this being played out at the moment. Stoke City. Full-time whistle goes. Leeds United 6. Stoke City 0. It is so close now. Leeds United, the club, have no official celebrations planned until the return to the Premier League is mathematically secured. But believe me, the party is underway for the Leeds fans. They can taste the prize after 2 seasons out of the top flight. The Premier League will surely welcome back one of its prized names. Leeds United have done it in remarkable fashion today. 6-0 over Stoke City. 4 of those goals for Joel Piroux, Junior Firpo and Willie Gnonto, adding the others in a memorable, historic display. Leeds United 6, Stoke City 0.
Yeah, and look, it's right in terms of officially having nothing planned, because it's not done yet. Have they got one toe in the Premier League? Of course they have, and they'll be watching intently tonight and what happens, obviously, in the late kick-off at Turf Moor, I'm sure. But they've done what they can do, Leeds United. That was the most important thing for them. But my word, did they do it emphatically. The first half was absolutely incredible. Second half as well, I must say, really professional. I know, obviously, Stoke changed it around, went 5 at the back, but it wasn't one of those free-for-alls that you sometimes see in games where a team's 4-5-0 up and you've got players shooting from 30 yards because they want to get on the scoreline. It was very professional performance, and obviously that sort of little cherry on the top was Harry Gray, obviously making his debut as well. What a fantastic moment for him.
Word or two for Joel Piroux. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, I mean, look, as a forward, that's what you dream about. He's clutching the match ball over there, rightly so.
Did he run out to get it straight away?
He must have. I can't blame him. What a fantastic moment for him. And like you say, whether it remains to be seen what his role will be going forward in the Premier League. But this is a big moment that obviously he'll enjoy. And you see the fans now, the singing, the players all go around and go to all corners of the ground, I'm sure.
Well, a couple of the players just started to dance. Now, that was interesting because they clearly did let their guard down there.
Yeah, just for a second, and that's okay, because you know what? These moments don't come around very often in football. The 6-0 sort of wins and being on the verge of promotion. And it's hard because as a player, you want almost to let that emotion go. You want to run away with yourself. But, they almost have to just wait. It's simmering. It really is simmering. And maybe, in 4 hours' time or whatever it may be, they can start dancing around the living rooms or whatever if they're planning something unofficially together. But yeah, it's nice for these players to be able to take this moment in.
Leeds United have done their bit, and the players are doing a a lap of honour, really, of the ground. They have, of course, got another home game to come. Bristol City at home will lie await for them in the next game. So that truly will be the send-off, but this will always be remembered as the day where they crossed the line. And those Stoke City players have retreated into the changing rooms, while the Leeds players, and particularly young Harry Gray has been pushed forward towards that famous Leeds end, and he's dancing and punching the air along to I Predict a Riot. Well, he didn't get a goal and he didn't get a memorable moment in play, but he'll never forget that little dance with the Leeds fans.
Yeah, exactly. And look, just like I say, ending that game on the pitch will be such a memorable moment for him. So, and look, I've seen the Leeds players do this when I've been here all season, this lap of honour. Granted, the stadium hasn't always been this full, but like I say, they know that they're not far away, and hopefully for them, they'll be hoping that, 4 or 5 hours, and a bit later on, they can be celebrating together, knowing officially they are a Premier League team.
And you know what? It's brilliant to watch those Leeds fans at the moment. This is what they've dreamt about. This is what it's all been for. It's not all been highs this season, although the points and the goals and the clean sheets may suggest it has, but they've had a few difficult moments, a few points where they've been questioned whether they can get over the line, and now I think they've finally delivered. And the Leeds fans all around the ground with their scarves aloft, both arms out to the sides, and everyone, including the players, singing along and taking in what has been a momentous day for Leeds United. They're almost there. They'll be watching, not exactly anxiously, but they'll be watching Burnley against Sheffield United and hoping. My thanks to Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Thank you, Steve.
Been a memorable day here at Ellen Road. Leeds have put 6 past Stoke City, and they're almost in the Premier League.